Corporate Counsel Roy Christian Malyari, Government Corporate Attorney Maria Susana D. Garcia, Government Corporate Attorney
Unmute. Muted yung
Manila and Attorney Cecilio Bobila. From the Mactan Cebu International Airport Authority, we have the General Manager, CEO, Julius Neri Jr., the Assistant General Manager, Glenn Napoli. From the Metro Rail Transport, we have Engineer Federico Canar Jr., the General Manager. From the Light Railway Transit Authority, we have Attorney Hernando Cabrera, the Administrator. From the Philippine Ports Authority, we have J. Daniel Santiago, the General Manager. The Secretary will inform Your Honors of the other guests later. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you, Secretary Marlon. So we'll now go on the next agenda of our meeting for today, joint committee meeting. That is the opening remarks. So again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your presence. Before anything else, I would like to express my pleasure and pride to be sharing the task of presiding over this meeting with the Honorable Chairperson of the Committee on Transportation, the highly esteemed Congressman Romeo Acop of the 2nd District of Antipolo. For consideration today, are measures that have been approved at least the committee level during the previous Congress. I understand that the main reason why these proposals failed to progress forward was due to other priorities, especially involving the health and welfare of our people during the COVID-19 pandemic, which covered the 18th Congress. Without further ado, may I now give the floor to Chairman Acop for his opening remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Edwin Olivarez. My distinguished colleagues, members of the Committee on Transportation and the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization, and all our honorable guests in today's joint meeting, magandang hapon po sa inyo. I laud the objectives of the authors of the measures before us. This representation acknowledges the need to ensure the delivery of adequate, efficient, and convenient transport services to our people. And the government has employed various approaches towards achieving this goal. These include the creation of corporate entities with a higher degree of autonomy and flexibility in their business operations. In pursuit of the same strategy are several measures in our agenda this afternoon. Also included in today's deliberations are bills calling for the rationalization of functions of existing government agencies. This representation believes that the overlapping and sometimes conflicting functions of related government agencies impair their proper functionalities to the great prejudice of the public. We have seen these problems in the case of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines and the Philippine Ports Authority, among others. While this representation agrees with the goal of the proposals at hand, may I emphasize that we also need to exhaustively deliberate on several questions before we act on the measures, particularly on the budgetary requirements of these bills and their implications on the government's rationalization plan. We have with us this afternoon the representatives from the Governance Commission for GOCCs, the National Economic and Development Authority, the Department of Finance, and the Department of Budget and Management. Their combined expertise and wisdom will help in clarifying the issues related to the reorganization of these corporate entities and the viability of these proposals. Likewise, we have representatives from various government corporations who will share their valuable insights as regards their operation. Again, thank you, Honorable Chairman Olivarez, honorable colleagues, and I look forward to this afternoon's discussions. Mr. Chairman, may I also acknowledge the presence of one of the members of the Committee on Transportation, the Honorable James Jojo Ang Jr. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Acop. So, on the part of the Committee on Government Enterprise, we would like to recognize now our the first deliberation measures, the House Bill number 1346, Honorable Loreto Acharon, for our measure to be tackled by this committee today.
Good
On the part
afternoon. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chairman Ako. Go ahead.
Thank you.
please.
On the part of the Committee on Transportation, the Honorable Acharon is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Ako and Chairman Olivarez. Good afternoon, everyone, to the resource persons and the other members of the committee. Mr. Chairman, may I move that my explanatory note be adopted as my sponsorship speech for this particular measure.
Okay. As manifested by Representative Acharon, we have a copy of the explanatory note regarding the creating the General Santos International Airport Authority, transferring existing asset of General Santos International Airport to the authority, vesting the authority with the power to administer and operate the General Santos International Airport, and appropriating funds therefore. So I would like to ask any manifestation from the members of the joint committees or any clarification to the sponsor, to the proponent of this bill.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman Akop, you're recognized.
maybe may I recommend, Mr. Chairman, that if we have our concerns and issues, maybe it would be after the presentation of the different resource agencies that we have. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so well taken, Chairman Akop. So we would like to recognize our resource person, Secretary Marlon.
Transportation. Department of Transportation.
So we would like to recognize virtually the representative from the DOTR for his position regarding this bill. From DOTR.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman Akop, go ahead.
I was informed by my ComSec that I think the Secretary of the DOTR is present.
Okay. Okay, so we would like to recognize virtually Secretary Bautista.
Chairman, present po.
Secretary? Yes. Any from the representative from the DOTR, Secretary Bautista, regarding the measures introduced by Representative Acharon regarding the position of the DOTR regarding this?
Mr. Chair, naririnig po ba kami, Mr. Chair?
Clear. Very clear.
Magandang hapon po ulit to the Honorable Chairman and the members of the committee. Again, thank you for inviting the OTR, and with us today, kasama po namin si Secretary Jamie Bautista along with the Undersecretaries and Assistant Secretaries of the various sectors. To the chairs, may we please advise the body that we submitted our position paper earlier on these proposed bills. Specifically on the matter being discussed now on the creation of the Zamboanga International Airport Authority, the DOTR at the outset supports the initiative of Congress. And we, while we have...
Excuse me. We're discussing regarding the General Santos International Airport.
Yes, Mr. Chair. For the creation of the General Santos Airport Authority, the DOTR through the Secretary of the Transportation expressed its support for the laudable intentions of the bill, but may we be allowed to express our comments and reservations, which we also submitted in our position paper on such creation, Mr. Chair. If we are allowed, I may turn over to our Aviation Undersecretary to lay down in detail some of the major comments that we have on the proposed bill, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Hindi ba natin na-receive?
Okay. As per our secretary, we did not receive any written hard documents of the position the position of the DOTR.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair. We apologize for that. We just sent it around 1 o'clock. We sent it virtually, but we will also transmit it, the hard copy today, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we're recognizing the representative from DOTR.
Good afternoon, Chairman Olivarez and Chairman Akop. This is Undersecretary Babilim, DOTR, Aviation and Airports. Our approach to the various bills is to read it together because there is one that proposes a Philippine Airport Corporation on a national basis. And then, of course, you have specific bills dealing with General Santos and the AKLAN Airport Authority. We would like to start our discussion by first stating that in the previous Congresses, the DOTR and the various stakeholders have consistently supported various bills that propose to establish a national airport corporation. And hand in hand with that restructuring is removing from the Civil Aviation Authority its function of operating airports. So what will happen as a result is Civil Aviation Authority will have a purely regulatory function, while the responsibility for constructing, planning, developing, and implementing airports would become the responsibility of the Philippine Airport Corporation. Now, how do we harmonize that with various proposals, such as the General Santos Airport Authority? Our view, Your Honor, is that from the point of view of the policy of government right now, which is to right-size the bureaucracy, we believe that to pursue a separate authority for General Santos would lead to more fragmentation of operating the infrastructure of aviation. Second, Your Honor, we believe that based on the economics right now of General Santos Airport, it would not become a profitable undertaking. Right now, General Santos is losing money. And if we are to put it under a separate authority, then the economic issue or question to address is, can the authority operate it viably? So on those two grounds, Your Honor, the position of the OTR is, while the objective and goals of the bill are laudable, we are all in favor of uplifting the level of airport quality, operation, and delivery of service. There are, we believe, constraints to doing this by creating an airport authority, both from a organizational point of view and economics point of view. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Yusek Lim, for that position regarding this measure. So we are tackling simultaneously the three House bills regarding the airport authorities. So we would like to recognize one of the author who introduced House Bill 1522, and we would like to recognize Representative Haresco. Congressman Haresco, you're recognized virtually for your sponsorship message.
Kung Busita will.
Okay, so in behalf of Congressman Haresco, Congressman Busita is recognized. Congressman Busita, please unmute. Okay.
House Bill, Mr. Chair, what House Bill number
1522.
1522?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair, on behalf of Representative Haresco, author of the House Bill number sorry. Saan yung kay Congressman Haresco? Saan yung kay Congressman Haresco?
House Bill 1522.
1522.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on behalf of Representative Haresco, author of House Bill 1522, I move that the explanatory note of the bill be considered as the sponsorship speech.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Busito. Okay, now we would like also to recognize the author that introduced the House Bill number 2234, Representative Yap, Coco Yap. You're virtually recognized for your sponsorship message.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, our fellow colleagues, resource person. I am honored to sponsor House Bill 2234, an act creating the Philippine Airport Corporation, defining its powers and functions and providing funds, therefore. This bill proposes to establish the Philippine Airport Corporation, a government instrumentality with exclusive authority to develop and operate airports, expand existing ones, and provide secure and convenient airport facilities for air travelers. This essential transfers from CAAF's function as airport operator to the Philippine Airport Corporation, so it may be effectively function as a regulator and investigator of all civil aviation concerns. The proposal is consistent with the recommendation to rationalize governance by separating the developmental powers of agencies from their regulatory function, thereby preventing potential conflicts between the need to develop government assets and the need to ensure that the government services comply with the national laws, rules and regulation, international standards, and citizens' expectation. It will make air travel in the country safer, more competitive, and better suited to meet the needs of our businesses, especially our tourism. Thus, ang ngalan sa serbisyong tinuray, I have the request that this proposal be passed quickly. Maraming salamat, and thank you, Mr. Chair. What?
Please unmute, Mr. Chair. Please unmute.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Congressman Yap. So we have here the position of the DOTR regarding this creation of our airport authorities. We'd like to ask the representative from the Office of the Government Corporate Council, or GCC, for their position regarding these measures.
Mr. Chair.
Chairman Acop, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we proceed further, may this chair acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Mario Vittorio Marino and the Honorable the Vice Chair of this committee, Tirso Edwin Gardiola. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Acop. So again, we would like to recognize virtually the representative from the Government Corporate Council or the OGCC. Okay, Mr. Malyari, you're recognized for the position regarding these measures.
Yes, if Your Honor, please. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I will be the spokesperson for the Office of the Government Corporate Council. With me is our team leader, Attorney Roy Christian Malyari, Your Honor. For the comments of the Office of the Government Corporate Council, we have submitted the same to the Honorable Committee by way of electronic mail yesterday, November 14, 2022, and also by personal service this morning, Your Honors. So we are adopting our comments in the said 11 November 2022 letter. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Congressman Rufus, you're recognized.
for us to be able to proceed in this hearing, we would like to know the gist because you know you are now on the floor. You have been recognized, OGCC. Now, what is your position? Number one, to the General Santos Airport Authority, AKLAN Authority, and the Philippine Airport Corporation. Can we go one by one so that you judge the gist so that we will know whether you're in favor or not?
From the OGCC, please respond on the query of our distinguished gentleman, Congressman Rufus.
Thank you, Your Honors. In response to Congressman Rufus, in our comments, we are mostly tackling on the policy considerations. And for, if I may just read our comment, Your Honors, for a better appreciation, Your Honors. For House Bill number 1346, which is the act creating the General Santos International Airport Authority, we made some comments on the said proposed House Bill, specifically on Section 2, which is the phrase for policy coordination with the Department of Transportation. That is our suggestion. Also on Section 3, the inclusion of other provinces in the establishment of other airports must also be taken into consideration, the different local government units affected. And also in subparagraph D, Section 4, the cited corporation code is revised to read as follows: exercise all the powers of a corporation under Republic Act number 11232, which is an act providing for the revised Corporation Code of the Philippines, insofar as those powers are not inconsistent with the provisions of this act. For Section 5 of the proposed bill, we also suggested to include the phrase, in addition to its aviation security complement, after the phrase law enforcement agencies. And also, as to the composition of the Board of Directors, as appearing in Section 6 of the proposed bill, we are proposing that the Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, be made one of the members of the Board of Directors, instead of the Assistant Secretary of the Air Transportation Office, considering that the ATO was already abolished and CAAP was created in its place. We are also proposing, Your Honors, that the General Manager should be included in the list requiring the appointments with imprimatur of the President of the Philippines. The appointments of all other members of the Board of Directors should be selected from the list so recommended by the Governance Commission for GOCCs or the GCG. Also, we are likewise suggesting that there should be a provision on securing the necessary airport operation certification to operate from the CAAP as to the compliance with minimum safety standards for the operation of the airport in accordance with the CAAP law. Another suggestion is for there should be a provision with respect to the authorities' supervision of and close coordination with personnel of other government agencies operating within the premises of the airport. And we are referring to the Bureau of Immigration, the Bureau of Customs, the Office of the Transport Security, the Bureau of Plant Industry, to name a few. That is for House Bill 1346, Your Honors.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Please unmute, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Rufus, you're recognized.
Thank you. So you have certain mandatory propositions to the bill of the Honorable Loreto Acharon. But my main question is this. You are in favor of the creation of this authority, except that you have certain suggestions on amendments to the proposed bill of Congressman Loreto. May we get your answer?
Yes, Your Honor. We have no vehement objections, Your Honor.
No, I'm just asking you whether you're in favor or not about vehemency or anything. Are you in favor? In other words, did you, OGCC, favors the bill of the General Santos International Airport Authority with the following proposals? Do we know whether you're in
yes,
favor?
we are in favor, Your Honors, subject to the OTR comments and suggestions.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the second one, OGCC, AKLAN.
For House Bill number 1522, which is an act establishing the AKLAN Airport Authority, our written comments are as follows.
Before that, can you start first your overall assessment and your recommendation? Approval, disapproval? May we get your answer? Support or not, or objection? Support or objection? So let us see. So that, when your lawyers, I suppose, of course, the OGCC, there is a provision, there is, of course, the, what is the position? Okay, what is the position first? And then we go to the details. Favor or not?
First of all, Your Honor, there is a concessionaire in this AKLAN airport, Your Honor. So it might conflict, Your Honor, with the contract with the concessionaire, Your Honor. But in general, we have no objection to the same, Your Honor. Again, subject to the comments of the OTR.
When you say that there is a contract, then of course there is always the constitutional provision on the validity of contracts and observance of contracts. No impairment clause of the Constitution. Now, are you saying that this bill will violate an existing contract which the government has to observe and to follow, so that there will be no impairment of contract?
If Your Honor, please, I cannot say that at the moment. We still have to review the whole of the contract for us to properly determine if there will be violations, Your Honors.
What contract is this? Between government and a private entity, and you should have that because you are the OGCC. What contract is that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but we don't have a copy of that contract right now, Your Honor, with our office.
Then how can you say that there is a possible conflict between the bill of Congressman Acharon as proposed by Congressman Bonifacio Bosita if you have not read that contract? How can there be a conflict if you don't know the contract?
Your Honor, marinig ba? Your Honor, we are currently handling expropriation cases for AKLAN Airport.
Who's this? Who's this? Bobby Lim?
Expropriation proceedings, Your Honor. There are some areas which
please recognize yourself.
I'm attorney Roy Malyari, Your Honor.
Roy Malyari, okay. Yes, Roy.
Yes.
Okay.
Our office is currently in the process of, actually we already have filed expropriation cases for areas within the airport, Your Honor, which we already have the writ of possession, because the airport is is currently being expanded, Your Honor, and there is I think there was an award for a concession, Your Honor, which is operating the airport now, Your Honor.
Now, that is precisely what you like to know, because if the authority, the AKLAN authority, Mr. Chairman, if there is an existing prior right holder of the operations of the airport, then it will be difficult to just, have this bill to be able to discard the particular contract. So again, what contract is this? Or you need more time to know about this contract? It's very vital.
Can we
Or
just
you cannot
give time,
something
Your Honor?
to them. Yes.
Can we be given time to submit, Your Honor? We will have to go over the records, Your Honor, because as of now, our concerns are the expropriation proceedings, Your Honor, please.
Yeah, we don't care about the appropriation, because whatever it is, appropriated or not, we are putting up an international authority. But what we do not want is that we violate an existing concessionaire on the same airport by creating this authority. So then we would know what is the contract and what is the period of the contract. If there is a contract, then we have to wait until the term of the contract expires. Okay, so with that, Mr. Chairman, and I proceed now to the third bill that I would like to ask OGCC for its position, the Philippine Airport Corporation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before Congressman Rufus continue, I would like to ask the OGCC on your submitted written position. So hindi kasama do sa inyong regarding the concessionaire of this AKLAN airport. So we'll be waiting for your position paper written to be submitted on this committee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So Congressman Rufus, you can go ahead now, please, for the third measures of the House Bill 2234.
We have the position of OGCC on the proposed bill on the Philippine Airport Corporation.
For House Bill number 2234, we made the following comments, Your Honors. Number one, for our comments are under Section 4, which is the purpose and objectives. In paragraph A, we would like for the words air traffic to be revisited, as this would not be in conflict with the jurisdictional powers, duties, and functions of CAAP in regulating air commerce and air navigation rules under the CAAP law. And also, we would suggest to revisit the provision on Section 11 on airport operation certification and to reevaluate if this provision will not interfere or overlap again with the powers, duties, and responsibilities of CAAP in relation to its control on technical and operational aspects on civil aviation matters. As CAAP's issuances of various certificates to ensure the safety standard of the airport, air transport, air navigational facilities, and equipment. Also, in the alternative, we are suggesting that a provision providing for securing the necessary airport operation certification to operate from the CAAP to ensure compliance with minimum safety standards for the operation of the airport, in accordance again with CAAP law. Also, yes, Your Honor. Also, it was observed that there is no provision pertaining to the employees of CAAP who will be affected by the transfer of powers and duties exercised by CAAP to the corporation. Thus, it is suggested to include a provision pertaining to the employees of CAAP who will be affected by the creation of this airport corporation. Those are our comments, Your Honors. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. You are on mute again, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Rufus, you are virtually recognized.
Thank you again. You are the office of the Government Corporate Council. And you don't say in a meeting that there has to be a revisit. It's either the bill, which is on the table, violates the provisions of the powers of the CAAP or not. Are there provisions in this bill that would violate or that would be in conflict with the CAAP charter? You mentioned
Yes.
at least 3. There are.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is the problem, because certainly we don't also want to emasculate the CAAP, which has already been operating, Mr. Chairman, and for a long time from CAAP to CAAP and so forth.
Yeah.
And so I think we should read their comments and we will evaluate, Mr. Chairman, whether a corporation may be in conflict with the governmental function of regulating air traffic in this country. So those are my comments, Mr. Chairman. And so thank you. So we can proceed. But before that, Mr. Chairman, let me just greet. You know, we have to load Secretary Bautista. He's very busy, but Secretary Jimmy Bautista is present. You see, not all cabinet members will attend meetings. That just means that Secretary Bautista respects the Committee on Transportation and Government Enterprises. So thank you to Secretary Bautista. Are you still there, Secretary?
Yes, I'm here, Congressman.
Thank you very much for being present. Secondly, as a matter of record, I'd just like to greet and congratulate PPA General Manager G. Santiago, one of the few, because of his good record, exemplary record, and the PPA has been reappointed. So, PPA General Manager, are you around?
With the permission of the chair, yes po, Kong Rufus, maraming salamat po.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to again congratulate GM J. Santiago. I would like to greet also the Governor of Davao Sur, Yvonne Cagas. Her husband is my former colleague, illustrious colleague and friend, Congressman Mark Cagas. So Yvonne, thank you very much, Governor Yvonne, for joining us in this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rufus.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we would like to recognize Chairman Ako, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, trabaho lang natin to as chair. We would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Jose Olivarez. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Ako. Okay, so after hearing the position of the OGCC, we would like to hear the position of the Governance Commission or the GCG. So I would like to recognize virtually the representative from the GCG.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I'm Attorney Jeline Canovas Manaig from the Governance Commission for GOCCs. I'm Attorney 5 of the Office of the General Counsel. Your Honor, the GCG will still file its position paper to this honorable committee relative...
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I recognize Attorney Rufus.
Point of order is, where is, if there is any, the what you call the secretary for the Office of Government Corporate Commission? Governance Commission. Who is the Government Commission? Are you the one who is the Government Commission head?
No, Your Honor. Our present chairperson is the former Justice Alex Quiroz, Your Honor.
No, where is he?
He is attending to equally important matter, Your Honor.
This is Congress Peñera, your lawyer, right? And
yes, Your Honor.
Secretary Bautista is here. I cannot imagine how our Government Commission, Corporate Commission is absent, Mr. Chairman. So we are not going to listen, Mr. Chairman, to representatives who are here, who are not the heads. Let us go to the head. So we'll give you time. Can you ask him to come, Justice Quiroz?
All right, Your Honor.
Yes, that is, you respect the Committee on Transportation and Government Enterprises, so that we can hear. In the previous meetings, we had the head appearing because he decides, and he is the one who has been able to come out with a position paper. Okay, can we proceed, Mr. Chairman, to another while he is contacting Justice Queiroz, whom I respect so much, if he can be able to be
Okay.
with us.
Okay, Attorney Manaig, to the request of our colleague, please ask Chairman Queiroz to be present on this committee hearing. So before we will call another resource person because House Bill 2234 is a measure concerning the whole operation of airport of the country. So we would like to ask the position of the MIA, the Manila International Airport Authority. We would like to recognize the representative from the Manila International Airport Authority.
Your Honor, this is Yusek Lim, the General Manager of Manila International Airport Authority is not present.
Okay.
If need be, Your Honor, we will, if you give us a few minutes and have a call later, we will make arrangements so that he can be present.
Okay. Did the MIA submitted a position paper written on this committee?
Yeah, Your Honor, the basic position of the OTR encompasses the operating units such as CAAP and MIA.
Okay.
That would be the position also of MIA.
Okay. So the DOTR position is also the position of all airport authority.
And attached agencies, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Well taken, Yusek Lim. Well taken, Yusek Lim. Sino pang ating bitahan? Okay, Chairman Acob, do you want to recognize any resource person regarding these three bills?
No, Mr. Chair, I do not have any member of the committee who is presently requesting for recognition.
Okay.
Tapos na po ba lahat yung resource persons natin?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary, everyone is called and have the position paper, except for the GOCC.
Do we have representatives from
the GCG?
Mr. Chairman, do we have representatives from the Department of Finance and the Department of Budget and Management?
Gusto ko lang tanungin yung sa OGCC. Kasi laging legal opinion. Raise hand.
DBM wala.
Mr. Chair.
So, DBM is not in attendance. We would like to recognize the representative from the Department of Finance. Is there any?
I think, Mr. Chair, on our Zoom, the DBM is present. And
Okay.
even the Department of Finance.
Okay, so we would like to recognize the representative from the DBM.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Congressman Acob. My name is Nihal Abdul Rauf, the Department of Budget and Management, Budget Information Legislative Service. We respectfully manifest that the current policy direction of the DBM is right-sizing the national government. Nevertheless, we respectfully note that the proposal should be supported by a cost-benefit analysis, considering that they should be self-sustaining. That would be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you from the DBM. Anyone, any query on the representative of the DBM, on the members of the committees? If none, we would like to recognize the representative from the Department of Finance for their position on these measures. The Department of Finance.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. This is Assistant Secretary Glenda Rumor from the Department of Finance. I would just like to inform the body that we have yet to receive a copy of the draft of these bills. So we have no comment yet on these bills, Mr. Chair. We were not given a copy.
Okay, Secretary.
The instruction was to download from the house.
Okay.
They were instructed.
Okay, so the Secretary of the Committee will communicate with you and give you a copy of these bills. And we'll be expecting a written position of the Department of Finance regarding these three measures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will submit accordingly upon receipt.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we would like again to call the attention of the GCG so that we could ask their position regarding these measures before we act on this. Attorney Manaig, are you still here virtually? Any representative from the GCG?
Kanina siya nandiyan pa, pero di ba si Kero sinahanap ni Ro?
Hinahanap po yung header.
Oh, wala.
Need sir.
Okay na tayo siguro. So, to the indulgence of Congressman Lucas, can we hear the position of Attorney Manaig of the GC?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we can hear the position of GCC subject to the later appearance of Justice Quiros.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we would like to recognize Attorney Manaig of the GCG.
Your Honor, for a while, because I need to the office of our chairperson.
Alin pa ang gusto na?
Okay.
Yung sasalita, ito dati napalitan ka mukha niya. Diba?
Your Honor, the GCG will file its position paper to this honorable committee relative to the proposed House bills, number 1346, 1522, 2234, 2762, which is pending approval of our principals, Your Honor. And upon approval, we will transmit to you our position paper. As the bill involves the creation of GOCC, embracing the government instrumentalities with corporate powers or government corporate entities, the same shall be in accordance with the provisions of RA 1049 or the Governance Act of 2011 and the guidelines set by the GCG, so that the application of laws and regulations within the GOCC sectors will be uniform and consistent, Your Honor. However, Your Honor, I could not authoritatively discuss to you the matters because the position paper is still to be approved by our principals.
Okay. Any comment from our colleague? We would like to recognize Congressman Rufus, please.
May I know when you received the communication from the committees on your comments, for your comments? When did you receive this? Because it depends on giving you time, because otherwise you waive. If you are late, there are latches on the part of the government commission, then we will forgo your stand. So when did you receive this?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I am not aware of that because I am assigned to a different division handling this matter, and this was given to me only last Friday to attend this meeting. I was just informed to attend this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the COMSEC when they give a copy. We cannot afford to have, the government agencies taking their time. There's already a hearing, and yet they have not yet filed their comments. The others have already filed their comments. Maybe from the COMSEC when they were able to serve a copy of these bills to the government.
However, upon checking, Your Honor, we received the communication from the committee on October 28th, 2022.
Well, that's a lot of time, Daniela. That's a lot of time.
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. My goodness. So why have you not been able yet to have your principal approve it? 2 weeks. The others already submitted theirs. So let us just give a warning to all agencies.
Yes, Your Honor. We apologize, Your Honor.
Yeah, having received them 2 weeks, my goodness, you can finish that in 3 days. It's a matter of reading it and then what are the laws, whether they comply with the law creating the governance commission. So next time, Panyera, let us have a fast action on this so that when the hearing comes, there is already your particular position. Thank you,
Noted,
Mr.
Your Honor. We apologize for this.
Okay. Attorney Manaig, when will you submit the written position paper regarding these 3 bills?
I was instructed to relay to you that the position paper will be released within the week, Your Honor.
So within the week? Within the week?
Yes, Your Honor.
Friday.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. I think we've already exhausted all our resource person on their position.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Chair.
we would like to recognize Chairman Ako.
I think the Honorable Paduano has been raising his hand.
Okay.
So I think the chair should recognize him. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. We would like to recognize virtually Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the both chairman of the Joint Committee. Mr. Chairman, just a short manifestation, Mr. Chairman. Supposedly, agency's representative in this committee hearing and any committee hearing in the House, dapat ang pinapadala nila, Mr. Chairman, kayang sagutin o handa man lang sa mga tanong na itatanong ng mga committee members. That's number 1, Mr. Chairman. Just like what happens with the OGCC when asked by former Deputy Speaker, our esteemed colleague, Congressman Rodriguez, Mr. Chairman. Second, Mr. Chairman, just a follow-up question of the issue that was raised by Congressman Rufus Rodriguez dun sa CAAP, Mr. Chairman. When he was asked by Chairman, former Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez, if there is such a provision in the CAAP that violates this bill, Mr. Chairman, he answered in a positive note. Now, ang tanong, Mr. Chairman, can he point to us the specific provision of the CAAP that will be violated by this bill if ever this bill will be passed into law? And second, Mr. Chairman, and for the record, the House of Congress and this committee has all the power to amend, if ever necessary, to amend any charter or any provision being mandated to the CAAP. Now, Mr. Chairman, can I ask the CAAP what specific provision that will violate the charter or the mandate of the CAAP, Mr. Chairman? Thank you.
Transportation.
Okay. So we would like to ask the representative from the DOTR to answer the query of Congressman Paduano.
Mr. Chair, magandang hapon po.
Yes. Your secretary.
Yes, for us to be able to effectively answer, may we please ask for a reiteration of the concern, Mr. Chair? Salamat po.
Okay, Congressman Paduano, please.
Thank you, Chairman. What provision in the CAP? It's either DOTR or OGCC, Mr. Chairman. Ang
Yes,
pwedeng sumagot
DOTR
ng tanong ko.
Yes.
Yeah, what specific provision that will violate the mandate of the CAP with regards to the bill on the table right now? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Yes.
Well, Your Honor, I think as we understand it, the question being asked is what provisions in the bills, in any of the three bills, would violate or contradict or be inconsistent with the CAAP law. So, if I may take the Philippine Airports Authority bill, number one, for example, the Philippine Airport Corporation intends to cover all airports in the Philippines. And it is the position of the OTR that we should exclude airports that are already the subject of separate airport authorities like Manila Airport Authority, Mactan, Clark, Davao Airport Authority. It will also exclude Subic, which is subject of the SBMA law. So that would be in terms of scope. The others would be in terms of providing police authority. We submit that it should be a security force that is to be provided by any airport authority rather than a police force, which is reserved by the PNP law to that institution. Second, in general, the airport operation certification, we submit we submit that this is a regulatory function that continues to be within the ambit of this CAAP unit or the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. Yeah. Your Honor, these are some of the provisions that we have identified as examples of the incompatibility of this bill with the CAAP law. But we would like to reiterate that in terms of the philosophy of taking away the responsibility of CAAP in operating airports and putting it in a national body such as a Philippine Airport Corporation, the DOTR supports this, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this is Attorney Rainier Yebra from DOTR.
Yes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In addition to what Yusek Bobby Lim has said, the DOTR recognizes and supports this creation of PAC because it will also address previous audit findings by international organizations on the supposed conflict of interest arising from CAAP having both regulatory and operational management functions. So by creating the PACC, we are in effect addressing the findings of international organizations where there should be a separate body that will operate the airports and at the same time a separate body to regulate the operations of airports. And in addition to what has been mentioned already, in our position paper, we identified several sections that may need clarification because at first reading, it will appear to overlap with CAAP's functions. So by way of example, we have section 5, paragraph A, we have section 5, paragraph N, and similar sections, Mr. Chair, wherein a clarification will harmonize the existing powers of CAAP with that of the proposed PAC. That's all, Mr. Chair. Salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you from the DOTR. Okay, can you provide us from the DOTR the written position to this committee?
We will comply, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Congressman Paduano, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair.
Chairman Acop, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The two committees would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Jose Arturo Garcia Jr. and the Honorable Filimon Ispares. I also have some issues to raise as a member of this committee, Mr. Chair. May I?
Yes. Please, Chairman Acop, you're recognized virtually.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask DBM, how long would it take them to conduct a cost-benefit analysis, which they have mentioned a while ago?
Representative from DBM, please respond.
Mr. Chair, we suggest that the cost-benefit analysis be provided. The cost-benefit analysis will not be prepared by the DBM. However, it is our suggestion that the proponents, if not the GCG, may conduct the cost-benefit analysis. The concerned agency, Mr. Chair, to conduct the cost-benefit analysis if it is indeed beneficial for the government to create these port authorities, considering that their nature is they will have corporate powers, Mr. Chair, and Kong Acop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I also ask some questions on the GCG, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please go ahead, Chairman Acop.
If we create airport authorities, would this fall under the jurisdiction of the GCG?
Representative from GCG, please respond. Attorney Manaig, please respond.
Wala na siya.
Attorney Manaig. In my understanding, Chairman Acop, this will be under the GCC because it is one of the GOCC.
I think, Mr. Chair, Ms. Luz Jose is present.
Okay.
I think Attorney Manaig is not there anymore.
Ms. Jose, you're recognized to answer the query of Chairman Acop.
Yes, good afternoon, Chairman. Yes po, all GOCCs to be created will be covered by the Governance Commission for GOCCs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask GCG, how many corporations, government corporations do we have at present?
Right now po, we are overseeing about 108 active GOCCs.
And may I ask how many of these GOCCs can support themselves? What I mean is, if they earn, they can support their operations?
I do not have the actual figure po, but most of the GOCCs are can support themselves, with only a few who are heavily subsidized.
And those GOCCs who are subsidized, may I know the amount of funds that the government gives as subsidy to these corporations?
We can provide the committee po with a comprehensive report on the amount of subsidies if we are allowed po.
Mr. Chair, would we allow them?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Would we allow them to give their answers later on or provide the answers?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, after knowing this, Mr. Chair, may I also give my thoughts on the three bills. First, on the two bills, House Bill number 1346 and House Bill number 1522. These two bills share a common objective of creating an airport authority to manage the operation of the said airports, like the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Mactan Cebu International Airport, which have their own charters, and the Clark International Airport, which is being operated by a government corporation. At present, the General Santos International Airport, KALIBO International Airport, and the CATICLAN Airport are among the 40 principal airports being operated by the CAAP. CAAP also manages the operations of 5 international airports and 40 community airports. The proposals, the NAIA, MCIA, and CIA experience shows the difference between chartered airports and those under CAAP's wing. Undeniably, the airports first mentioned provide better facilities and services, but comes with higher cost. Meanwhile, we cannot blame CAAP's handicap to provide the same level of services and infrastructure given its gargantuan task of managing so many airports on top of its regulatory functions. These proposals are laudable as they intend to create a body that will focus solely on the operations, management, and development of a particular airport. However, several things must be considered, especially the airport's operational viability, as creating a managing authority or corporation entails infrastructure and manpower requirements, among others. On these issues, we need the comments of CAAP on technical and operational requirements, the Governance Commission for DOCCs on its implication to the government's rationalization program, and the National Economic and Development Authority on the issue of economic feasibility. Meanwhile, House Bill number 2234, an act creating the Philippines Airports Corporation, the separation of the conflicting functions of transportation agencies has long been overdue. This situation comprises operational safety, which is a critical aspect of civil aviation. The proposal will effectively address several areas of concerns, especially on aviation safety, under a setup where one entity conducts the operation, management, and development of airport, while the other provide for a regulatory framework. Mr. Chair, if we look at House Bill number 2234, it would solve the conflicting issues insofar as CAAP is concerned, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Ako, for the enlightenment for this joint committee regarding these 3 bills. Okay, so after hearing all the position, opinion, and observation of our colleague, so we have to act on these 3 measures. So first, any motion do I hear for the House Bill number 1346? According to our resource person, wala namang, they are favorably endorsing this House Bill 1346. So we would like to recognize Congressman Rufus.
I now move for the approval by this committee of the House Bill creating the General Santos International Airport Authority as authored by Congressman Loreto Acharon. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And seconded?
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion to approve at the committee level of House Bill 1346. Duly seconded. Is there any objection? If there's none, on the part of the Committee on Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization, the motion is hereby approved.
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Rufus, you're recognized again.
congratulations to Congressman Loreto Acharon for your bill. So we hope that it will be approved in the plenary and then to the Senate. May I move, Mr. Chairman, to defer considerations, considering that there is still going to be more position papers and more clarification that the bill on the AKLAN International Airport be deferred, and also the creation of the Philippine Airport Corporation, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any second dead on the motion of Congressman Rufus regarding the Bill 1522 and 2234 for deferment until all position is submitted on these committees? Any second dead?
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. This was moved and this seconded. The motion is approved. Thank you. Now we will go now on our next agenda, the Railway Corporation, and we would like to recognize the proponent of House Bill number 831, Representative Michael Romero.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of Representative Michael Romero, author of the House Bill number 831, I move that the explanatory note of the bill be considered as the sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Congressman Bosita. So we would like to ask any members of the committee, any comment or manifestation regarding the House Bill number 831.
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Rufus,
may I request, Mr. Chairman, that we hear first the resource persons invited so that then we can join the issues and ask them afterwards, but Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Congressman Rufus. So we would like to recognize the DOTR, the Department of Transportation, regarding their position regarding this House Bill number 831.
Permission to speak, Mr. Chair. This is Attorney Rainier Yebra from DOTR.
The representative from DOTR is recognized virtually.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the outset, Mr. Chair, we express our support to House Bill number 831. However, DOTR respectfully submits that instead of a region-specific regulatory authority, we suggest that there should be a national rail regulatory authority to be created. This is because the current rail projects of the department cut across regional borders, and the projects in our pipeline will also be creating rail transport lines in the province. So a unified single rail regulatory authority throughout the country is necessary. But of course, Mr. Chair, we leave the discretion of a unified rail regulatory authority to the wisdom and discretion of Congress. Nonetheless, may I please be allowed to turn over the floor to our Undersecretary for Rails, Yusek Cesar Chavez, to provide more insights, Mr. Chair. That's all. Thank you.
We would like to recognize Yusek Chavez virtually.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In addition to what has been submitted virtually by Attorney Yebra, may I be allowed to include other comments on the House Bill number 831 to include, among others, one, in defining the scope of MRT Regulatory Board as proposed, we suggest that consideration and further study be given to existing arrangements pertaining to the operations and maintenance of railway systems within Metro Manila, such as Light Rail Transit Authority and the Metro Rail Transit Corporation, MRTC. Second, likewise, in determining the powers and functions of MRT-RB, Congress may conduct extensive consultations with existing metropolitan railway authorities, corporations, and operators. That includes LRMC for LRT Line 1. It may also be clarified if its regulatory functions include the power to impose penalties and sanctions, review and investigate violations, and issue decisions, orders, and/or resolutions. Next, it is respectfully recommended that the power of the MRT Regulatory Board, as proposed to prescribe fares, take into consideration the authority vested in the Department of Transportation to determine, fix, or prescribe charges or rates pertinent to the operation of public land, utility facilities, and services, which necessarily includes rail transportation utilities. Also, as part of MRT Regulatory Board's power, as proposed, Congress may consider to requiring all railway operating lines to set their standard key performance indicators, KPIs po, not only for the maintenance aspect, but also on the operations aspect, similar to the ones provided in the concession agreement with Light Rail Manila Corporation, LRMC, and Line 1. Said standards KPIs will be approved by MRT Regulatory Board. Next, we note that Section 4 on transitory provisions may benefit from defining and detailing requirements and processes to be complied with, either on House Bill itself or in the subsequent implementing rules and regulation. Next, we respectfully propose inclusion of a provision on appropriations of source of funds for the implementation of said House Bill. The status of MRT Regulatory Board in relation to the OTR may also be clarified in the House Bill to avoid future confusion and complications. And lastly, the foregoing considered, we express our support for the House Bill 831, subject to further comments that may be submitted by its concerned attached agencies, instrumentalities, and relevant entities whose knowledge and expertise on the matter at hand we deem vital to the success and viability of the proposed bill. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek Chavez. I would like to ask the DOTR if you have submitted a written position paper regarding these bills to the committee.
Mr. Chair, yes, we have submitted today, and we hope that it reaches the committee for their more detailed study, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you. So we would like to recognize again Congressman Rufus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, I'd like to thank, a very profound, as usual, exposition of Undersecretary Cesar Chavez. My goodness, a very good presentation of this bill, about this bill 831. Thank you, Yusek, for rails. And also the statement, also the previous speaker, also from the DOTR, regarding the need for probably a national railway authority to govern. And that goes to my second bill, because my second bill is the creation of the Philippine Railway Authority, not corporation, but authority. So that will also be in conjunction with my bill also that will create this, so that, the entire country under Secretary Bautista and under Secretary Cesar Chavez will have a very, comprehensive and feasible railway system, considering that, US, Japan, Korea, the reason why they were able to really develop is because of railway. There would have been no development in the west of the US if there was no these barons that organized and created the railways. And so we thank Undersecretary Cesar Chavez. And so, Mr. Chairman, as far as 831 is concerned, I would rather that this be considered in conjunction with my later bill, which will create a Philippine national authority, railway authority, so that everything will be synchronized, because I believe that under the leadership of Secretary Bautista, this will be the way to be able to have the benefits of railways coordinated, comprehensive, mutually supporting each other for the entire country, especially in Mindanao. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so to put order on this meeting, maybe we could ask the good Congressman Rufus to give the sponsorship message regarding the House Bill number 5392. If this committee decided to consolidate the bill 831 and 5392. So, Congressman Rufus, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, precisely, Mr. Chairman, we need a comprehensive, unified, and coordinated program for the railway system of our country. The railway system signaled the dawn of modern civilization as we know it. With the creation of mass public transport system such as railways, this has led, Mr. Chairman, to breakthrough in development in many sectors in the world, in different countries. So, unfortunately, in our country, we do not have such kind, as of now, the Philippine Railway, National Railway Authority that will, unify the rail system, the Metro MRT, the LRT, and then the railway going to Bicol. And then we also have now the Mindanao Railway Phase 1, which is from Tagum to Davao City to Digos. And that is why I have proposed a measure that will, under House Bill 5392, to accelerate the development of the National Railway System, creating for the purpose the National Railway Authority. Precisely, the functions of this authority will be first, to formulate and adopt an active participation, also formulate and adopt a comprehensive development plan for the National Railway System with ecological and environmental standards. And then, once there is a plan, then it can be open and encourage the participation of the private sector who may finance it, and also international development agencies. Because, Mr. Chairman, we really need railways in our country, especially in Mindanao. And then to implement and cost the implementation of the National Railway Plan and programs according to the scheduled priorities. There has to be prioritization because we cannot create all railways to the entire country at once. And so therefore, my bill is to create this National Railway Authority, Mr. Chairman, so that we can proceed with the development, especially in the far-flung areas of our country. So, Mr. Chairman, I am now open to questions from our members after, of course, we also have our resource persons give their comments on my bill in conjunction with House Bill 831. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, please unmute.
Sorry, Congressman. House Bill number 5705 is almost related with the House Bill 831 and 5392. So we would like to ask the author, our former speaker, Representative Olivarez, for the sponsorship message of this bill, 5705, before we ask the DOTR regarding these three bills. Okay, we would like to recognize Congressman Busita for House Bill number 5705.
Yes, Mr. Chair. On behalf of Representative Pantaleon Alvarez, author of the House Bill number 5705, I move that the explanatory note of the bill be considered as the sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Congressman Busita, in behalf of Congressman Alvarez. So we would like to ask the DOTR regarding this three bill, 831, 5392, and 5705. Can we consolidate it in one bill regarding this creation for our railway system in the country? We would like to ask the DOTR.
Mr. Chair, may I please have the permission to speak?
You're recognized, please.
Yes, Yes, Mr. Chair, DOTR is amenable with the consolidation of the aforementioned three bills. And if with the permission of the committee and the honorable chairs, may we be also allowed to at least give our comments on the last two House bills mentioned by the Honorable Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, given that we have not yet seen the copy of the House bills, Your Honor. But we, in principle, we are okay and amenable with the proposed consolidation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any comment from the proponent, Congressman Rufus?
Well, yes, we would await. We always give a chance to all agencies to be able to come out with their best opinion and comments on the bills. And so, Mr. Chairman, we ask the DOTR when they can submit their comments on my bill, and so with 831 and also the bill of Speaker Olivarez.
Please respond from the DOTR representative, please.
We can submit by this Friday, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. From the Committee on Transportation, Chairman Acop, any comment or any suggestion regarding this consolidation of this three bill? Or the members of other committees?
Mr. Chair,
Chairman
I would
Acop,
like to share my personal view on the matter, and I would like to beg the indulgences of the different authors, Mr. Chair. House Bill number 831, authored by the Honorable Michael Romero. The Philippines does not have a centralized body that undertakes the planning, development, and operation of existing railways. Under the DOTR, there is an Office of Undersecretary for Railways, which is tasked to lead in formulating and implementing the plans and programs pertaining to railways. However, all our existing railways, except for the PNR lines, were undertaken through variants of public-private partnership. This proposal aims to promote the development of railways, formulate and implement policies for rail operation, and regulate fares. This measure sounds reasonable as we do not have a single authority for railways. We have to consider the fact that most of our railways are governed by PPP agreements, which dictate the terms and conditions of their operations, including the fare rates. It will be helpful to revisit the government's direction and approach on big-ticket projects like railway system. PPP is the current norm, and this approach is governed by the guidelines and policies issued by NEDA. And again, Mr. Chair, as always, when we have a hearing, the DBM would consistently state that it should conform with the rationalization program of the government. That's all, Mr. Chairman, for 831, and for House Bill number 1463 and 2762 by the Honorable Villago, 1463 by the Honorable Rodriguez. I think, and I believe personally, that this measure seeks to follow, or the two measures seek to follow the direction of the Philippine National Railways, which operates the PNR lines. While a more focused approach by creating an entity to undertake the development and operation of a railway project will probably result in speeding up the implementation process, it requires a considerable amount of funds for infrastructure and personnel complement. Except for the budgetary requirements and their implications on the rationalization program, this representation does not have any other issues on these bills. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kindly unmute, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Ako, for the manifestation. And we would like to recognize from the DBM any comment regarding these measures.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We understand the comments raised by the Honorable Chairman, Congressman Ako. Yes, it is the current policy of the department. The current policy direction of the department is right sizing. However, we recognize the objectives of the bills. On that note, we defer to the comments of the DOTR in determining that the proposed functions of the board to be created will not duplicate the current functions of the units of the DOTR, handling the same matter. That would be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the position of the DBM. Okay, so any more manifestation from our colleague, from the members of the committees? There's a opinion that we consolidate that the three bills 831 and 5392 and 5705. Is there any motion? Or I would like to recognize Congressman Busita.
Mr. Chair, I move for the creation of a technical working group to consolidate these bills.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay. There was a motion and this was seconded. If there is no objection from this committee, the said motion is approved for the creation of a TWG in consolidation of House Bill number 831, 5392, and House Bill 5705. Now we will go now on the House Bill number 1463. We would like to recognize again Congressman Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And precisely, Mr. Chairman, this bill is really to be able to develop the island, which is the promised land, the land of promise always. So we have Bill 1463, which will create the Mindanao Railways Corporation. You have to take note, Mr. Chairman, that we are about to really start already the construction of or the securing of the funds for the Mindanao Railway Phase 1 from Digos to Davao City to Tagum, and to be able to have a expert body to run this. Then I believe that we have to create the Mindanao Railways Corporation, a government corporation which will be the one that will manage this. And in fact, Secretary Bautista and Yusek Chavez has been, I have requested them to consider the Cagayan de Oro to Iligan passing through Laguindingan International Airport be the phase 2 for Mindanao. So we will have two railway system that can be implemented in the near future with the commitment of Secretary Bautista and Yusek Chavez, so that Mindanao will be able to, in a cheap form, carry passengers and goods from one point to another, passing through areas which need development. And so, Mr. Chairman, I am therefore saying that Mindanao needs this, and we want the support of our DOTR in having this Mindanao Railways Corporation to expertly manage the upcoming phase 1 of the Mindanao Railways, and then the second phase until Mindanao will be connected by rail. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rufus, for the sponsorship message. So I would like to ask the DOTR regarding their position regarding this House Bill number 1463.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Immediately, our comment on the House Bill 1463. It will technically remove Light Rail Transit Authority and PNR from future development, acquisition of assets, properties, construct, operate, maintain railway projects in Mindanao, which is good. Because at the moment, the charters created that created LRT, Light Rail Transit Authority, and the Philippine National Railways, both government corporations can engage any private sector, international community, or on its own, develop, construct railway projects in any cities and any province all over the country. The creation of Mindanao Railway Corporations will limit the powers of these two if enacted. Having said that, let me go to another specific comments on House Bill 1463. One, we note that House Bill 1463 provides that the proposed Mindanao Railway Corporation shall exist only for 50 years from effectivity of the law if enacted. With deference to the Congress wisdom, said lifespan may be reconsidered given the objectives of the bill. Otherwise, House Bill 1463 may likewise provide a policy on the operations of covered public services after the expiration of the corporation's term. Next, House Bill number 1463 does not explicitly state which office shall exercise supervision over MRC or Mindanao Railway Corporation. If the intent is to place the proposed corporation under the President's direct supervision, the bill may so provide. Else, we submit that the attachment to the DOTR may also be considered in light of our mandate. For the comprehensive and for purposes of effective implementation, the powers of Mindanao Railway Corporation, as well as its board of directors and general manager, may be more specifically enumerated, similar to other laws creating government-owned and controlled corporations. For this purpose, the Governance Commission for GOCCs could study and make the appropriate recommendations concerning the creation of new government corporations per its functions under Republic Act number 10149. Another, Section 6, 7, and 8 of the House Bill 1463 may benefit from further review as to the GCG and GOCC Governance Act or the RA 10149. Next, House Bill number 1463 still refers to the Land Transportation Commission. Given the amendment of our laws, the same may be revised to refer either to the Land Transportation Office or Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board as appropriate. Next, the provision exempting Mindanao Railway Corporation from taxes, duties, and port charges of all kinds may be further clarified, especially the exemption of materials for construction. The subject of such construction is not explicitly stated or limited. The end of subject provision also appears to be vaguely worded and may be reviewed further. Lastly, we respectfully propose a provision to be included to provide safety nets protection to the employees in case of privatization, dissolution, merger, or consolidation, such as provision for a separation pay, retirement pay, or related compensation benefits to the affected employees and personnel. That is the position of the Department of Transportation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. From the DOTR, we would like to ask if the DOTR submitted a written position paper on this committee.
Mr. Chair, we submitted a consolidated position paper for all those bills being tackled today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. In attendance, okay, Congressman Rufus, you're recognized.
Yeah, an immediate response. We thank again Yusek Cesar Chavez for a very good observation on my bill. Now, as to the existence of the corporation, it can easily be amended by removing the 50 years. Under the revised corporation law, the corporations now have no end of their existence, so it can be perpetual. So we remove that to cure the first point of Yusek Chavez. Secondly, the bill will be clear that it will be under the supervision and the attachment to the Department of Transportation, especially to its committee, its division for railways. Number 3, we will make sure that we follow the governance commission requirements for organization. We also would be able to have our bill be in consonance with the also the objectives of the Department of Transportation. What I'm saying here, Mr. Chairman, is that we can be able to improve this bill, and that is why this can be also be subject to a technical working group as we bring in other agencies to come up with this. But I would like to emphasize the importance of this corporation. Well, it will limit the transportation, but sometimes an agency fully devoted to Mindanao rails. At this point, in view of Mindanao lagging behind the railway development. You know, here in Luzon, we have the East Rail and we have the West Rail. We have the North Rail and we have the South Rail. In Mindanao, no inch of rail. We are still trying to start, our first phase. And that is why that needs to have a body that will administer the phase 1 and then be able to proceed with the other phases of the phase 2 of Mindanao. So therefore, Mr. Chairman, we will be able to study the proposals of the DOTR, and in the technical working group, we can fine-tune to improve our bill, but the necessity is there. That is to be able to make sure that the island of Mindanao, which really needs this cheap form of transportation, the railway, should be given importance and impetus. So I move, Mr. Chairman, to create a technical working group to this. But before I would move, I would just like to ask that we hear those who are invited, for example, Governor Yvonne Cagas and others in these areas, others from Mindanao, to be able to give their position on this Mindanao Railway Corporation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rufus. Before acting this bill, we would like to recognize virtually the Governor of Davao del Sur, Governor Cagas. Governor Cagas, you're recognized virtually.
Representative Davao Oriental. Representative Governor Malanya.
Yes, yes. If Governor Cagas is not ready, we would like to recognize the representative of the province of Davao Oriental, of Governor Malanya.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. The province of Davao Oriental would like to register its full support to this House Bill number 1463, creating Mindanao Railways Corporation, introduced by the Honorable Representative Rufus P. Rodriguez. The proposed body, as we see it, will provide stability and sustainability of this means of transportation. The railways will improve economic integration, develop economic growth drivers, and of course, the ecotourism industry. Just recently, the President of our country has declared Davao region as investment ready and tourism core or center of Mindanao. So this development is really laudable, and we are giving again our full support to this particular bill. That will be all, sir, and thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much for that for the full support for this House Bill number 1463. The Governor of Davao del Sur, if ready, you are virtually recognized. Governor Cagas. Okay, baka nawala na si Governor Cagas.
Mr. Chair, wala na po yata si Honorable Cagas.
Okay. Okay. So, any motion from the committees? Okay. Congressman Rufus, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a text from Governor Cagas that she is in support. I put it on record, she's in support of the Mindanao Railways Corporation. I think every one of us in Mindanao will be supporting this because this is what we need in Mindanao. And once we have this, it will be full steam ahead as far as railways are concerned for Mindanao. And so we would like to give that particular information. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. I think, Congressman Rufus, it is not only the committees will support that, but the whole plenary will support this bill.
Thank you very much. We need your support, Mr. Chairman Edwin and Chairman Romy, because for a long, long time, there has been a dream of Mindanao to develop. And once again, railways is the cheapest form of transportation, as stated by President Bongbong Marcos in his zona. And so therefore, we would ask our colleagues to support this and let us already give full steam to our plans for more stages of the Mindanao Railway. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman Rufus. So we would like to recognize Congressman Busita for the motion, for the TWG, for the fine-tuning of this bill.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. This was moved and this was seconded. If there's no objection, the said motion is approved. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rufus.
And we
So
thank,
now-
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to thank the representative, Mr. Chairman of Davao Oriental, for their strong support for this bill. Thank you very much, Davao Oriental, to the representative. Daghang salamat.
Welcome, sir. Daghang kay salamat. Welcome, sir.
On the part of the committee, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So now we will tackle now the House Bill number 2762. The last agenda for the Railway Corporation. We would like to recognize Representative Villago for his sponsorship message. Wala na. So we would like to recognize Congressman Busita in behalf of Congressman Villago.
Yes, Mr. Chair. On behalf of Representative Villago, author of House Bill number 2762, I move that explanatory note of the bill be considered as the sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Congressman Busita, in behalf of Congressman Villago. So we would like to ask the position of the DOTR regarding this House Bill number 2762.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We note that House Bill number 2762, explanatory note, proposes a rail network portion of which is already covered by the North-South Commuter Railway Project, and the extension lines cover a portion of a feasibility study made for the Philippine National Railways extending the North-South Commuter Railway system from Nueva Ecija and La Union. In the pipeline also for feasibility study is the railway system traversing Cagayan provinces. However, under the feeder line system, smaller railways, whether operated by local government units or other entities, could feed to the main line, which is the North-South Commuter Railway Project. The Philippine National Railways, as an existing government instrumentality, could be considered further as a medium for further development by investing in railway infrastructure to cover these areas, particularly in Luzon, using the experience and capability of PNR and the expropriation powers to expand the railway network. It could also be utilized to complete the plan for a freight cargo railway network catering to the economic and agricultural products from the various provinces and decongesting the roads of delivery cargo trucks. Second, we note that House Bill number 2762 provides that the proposed Central Luzon Railways Corporation shall exist only for 50 years from the effectivity of the law. We would like to invoke the same comment as we made to the previous bill in the Mindanao Railway Corporation on this note. Third, DOTR administers and enforces all laws, rules, and regulations in the field of Transportation, including railways. Hence, we respectfully submit adding under House Bill 2762, Section 2, the following provisions, quote, to acquire and hold assets and to succeed to or acquire, maintain, and operate such as grants, concessions, and franchises, subject to the existing regulations implemented by the rail regulatory body, period, unquote. Number 4, Section 5 and 16 of the House Bill number 1463 may benefit, 2762 may benefit further as to GCG and GOCC Governance Act, or the RA 10149. Item number 5, the OTR recognizes that historically, railway corporations have been granted a wide range of tax exemptions similar to those provided under House Bill 2762, Section 12. It is, however, respectfully proposed, given current economic conditions and the right-sizing policy being espoused by the present administration, that the provided tax exemption may be revisited or at least further defined and detailed. Also, House Bill 2762 still refers to the Land Transportation Commission, that may be LTO or LTFRB. And lastly, we note that there is no provision on the issuance of implementing rules and regulations for House Bill 2762. It is respectfully proposed that the bill would benefit from inclusion of such and an elaboration and detailing of several of its provision. That is the position po of the Department of Transportation.
Thank you very much, Yusek Chavez. For the information of the committees, the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel already submitted a written position regarding this bill. And we would like to ask the GCG to also submit their position paper regarding this House Bill number 2762. Okay, so any manifestation of the members of these committees regarding this bill? If not, we would like to recognize Congressman Busita.
Mr. Chair, I move for the creation of a technical working group to fine-tune the bill.
Any seconded?
Second.
This was moved and this was seconded. If there's no objection on this committee, the said motion is carried. Thank you. So now we'll go now on our last agenda for today is the port authorities. So we would like to recognize Representative Gasataya for the House Bill number 291 for the sponsorship message.
Mr. Chair.
You're recognized, please. You're recognized, Honorable.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, yes, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, before the Honorable Gasataya would deliver his sponsorship speech, may I recognize, or may the two committees recognize the presence of one of the authors of the bill we are going to tackle today, House Bill number 4596, the Honorable Kaimer Adan Olaso. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. So we would like again to recognize Representative Gasataya.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, as a member of this committee, I move that the explanatory note of my bill, House number 4596, to be adopted as a sponsorship.
Yes,
thank you.
Then you just manifest yung concerns nila, sir.
Ito ba yung concern nila?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, yes.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Gasataya. So we would like to recognize the representative from the DOTR regarding for the House Bill number 291.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may be permitted to speak.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The DOTR likewise adopts the policy of the current administration's policy direction of streamlining and right-sizing the administrative functions of the government. While with the Philippines being an archipelagic state, creation of separate port authorities would fragment the administration of Philippine ports. Therefore, we are constrained to express reservation on the creation of separate port authorities for Bacolod and Zamboanga. The Philippine Ports Authority was primarily created to manage, own, and regulate these ports. So we understand that PPA also expressed its reservation on the bills creating other port authorities, citing the need for evaluation by national authorities and the sufficiency of current organizational structure of PPA and its project management offices. It is likewise under PPA's mandate to establish appropriate local port authorities as may be necessary. According to PPA, its mandate as a national port authority should instead be strengthened to ensure predictability and reliability of national governance, both in close coordination with local government units and government entities. With this, Mr. Chair, may we be allowed to pass the floor to our PPA General Manager, J. Santiago, to espouse PPA's comments, Mr. Chair. That's all.
Okay.
Salamat.
Thank you from the DOTR. Before we hear the response of our colleague on the members of the committees, we would like to hear the position of the GCG regarding this bill number 291 and 4596. From GCG, you're recognized.
Good afternoon again, Your Honors. As the bill involves, again, the creation of GOCC, embracing the government instrumentalities and government corporate entities, the creation must always be in accordance with the provisions of RA 1049 and the guidelines set by the GCG. Again, this is for the uniform and consistent application of the laws and regulations within the GOCC sector. Mr. Chair, we are to file our position paper that is to be approved yet by our principals. However, I can also relate some policies under the RA 1049, which is applicable to the House Bills 291 and the House Bill 4596. We have the creation of these GOCCs must adhere to the guidelines provided under RA 1049, like the appointment and term of the members of the board. It must the appointment must be in accordance with Section 16 of RA 1049 and the fit and proper rule mandated by the law. This is embodied in the GCG Memorandum Circular number 2012-05. Again, the appointed director shall be appointed by the President of the Philippines from a short list prepared by the GCG. As to the term of office of appointive members, it must be consistent with Section 17 of RA 1049, wherein the proposed term of office of the appointed members in this GOCs should be 1 year. As to the per dimes of the members of the board, Your Honor, it must be compliant with the provision of Section 23 of RA 1049 regarding the compensation, per dimes, and allowances of the members of the board that shall be determined by the GCG. And as to the organization, compensation, and personnel, the same must be compliant with Section 8 of RA 1049, Your Honor, providing for the limits of the compensation, per dimes, and allowances and incentives of the members of the board of directors. As to the provision as to the general manager or the head of the GOCC, we would like to direct to the attention to Section 8 of the Governance Act of 2011, that the CEO or the highest ranking officer shall be elected annually by the members of the board from among its ranks, and that the CEO shall be subject to the disciplinary powers of the board and may be removed by the board for the cause, Your Honor. These policies under RA 1049 are embodied and discussed in our position paper, Your Honor, which is to be filed and hopefully to be released and filed within the week, Your Honor.
Okay. So we would like, the committee would like to ask the GCG to give us a written position paper on these bills.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Also in attendance on this virtual meeting is the PPA General Manager. So we would like to ask the position of Mr. J. Santiago regarding this bill, House Bill 291 and 4596.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the permission of the committee chairs and with the permission of our secretary. Your Honors, if we may manifest that PPA submitted its position paper to the committee last November 9, 2022. And to expound further on the statement made by DOTR Undersecretary Rainier Yebra, we also advanced the opinion that the creation of new port authorities, not only Zamboanga City Port Authority or Bacolod City Ports Authority, that it is not necessary, considering as stated by Yusek Yebra for purposes of the direction of the government for streamlining. And based on our experience also, Mr. Chair, the proposed situation is analogous to the situation where we have ports which are being managed by local government units. Based on our experience, a lot of the ports being operated by the local government units, considering budget constraints, do not get developed as advanced or as maturely as the other ports being run by PPA. And in fact, we have experiences that the local government units have actually turned over or surrendered the ports, which they are operating to PPA for further development and for further management. The role of PPA, Your Honors, is unique, if not peculiar, in the sense that PPA's port system provides for cross-subsidy in so as the different ports all over the country are concerned. More profitable ports actually subsidize the operational requirements and development requirements of other ports, which are not as viable as others, but which are still necessary for purposes of trade, commerce, and accessibility. In fact, Your Honor, as pointed out by Yusek Yebra earlier, and if I may posit an opinion, that instead of fragmentizing the port system that we have in the Philippines right now, there may be a need in line with what Congressman Rodriguez has been proposing both for the other sectors, which is to consolidate the supervision and the regulation of all ports in the Philippines to one central port authority so that standards will be the same, tariff will be the same, development will be across the board, and it will be the same as the need arises. And it will not be dependent solely on the capabilities or the capacities of the local port authorities or of the local government units who are proposing to establish separate port authorities or separate port administrations. We noted, Your Honors, from the bills that there may be a need to further study the dynamics insofar as the port industry is concerned, so that we can better prepare, or Your Honors can better prepare legislation which will actually further improve port administration in the Philippines, and instead of fragmentizing it. We submit, Your Honor.
Thank you, GM Santiago, for your position on this bill. We would like to recognize the author of this House Bill 291, Representative Desataya.
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for the time. Good afternoon to everyone. Just a brief manifestation, Honorable Chair. Although we respect opinion of the different national agencies, but in the case of Bacolod City, Honorable Chair, what's distinct is that the one who owns the port is the LGU. There are two ports in Bacolod. The other one is being run by PPA, and then the bigger port is owned by the LGU, meaning it's owned by this bill for the establishment of the Bacolod.
Wala kung ano dyan, extension. Nawala ba siya? Nawala si ano? Si Congressman Gasa. Nawala siya. Hindi, parang ano siya.
Honorable Chair, am I heard?
Yeah. Nawala ka, Congressman eh. Nawala in a few seconds. Nawala.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Honorable Chair. There's some technical glitch. As I pointed out, Honorable Chair, the difference of the situation of Bacolod City is that the one who owns the port in Bacolod is the LGU. This is the bigger port compared to the one being run by the Philippine Ports Authority. So our premise of Cebu, Honorable Chair, that Cebu has its own ports authority. So that's the reason why we filed the bill for the establishment of the Bacolod Ports Authority. We submit, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Congressman. So also in attendance, virtually is from the Marina Legal Services, Attorney Daniel Martin Oral. So we would like to recognize him for the position of his position of this office. Attorney Oral.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Attorney Daniel Martin Oral here from representing Marina. With the position of the Marina regarding the proposed bill po, we also adopt the manifestation of the PPA regarding creation of the new ports, and we had excuse me, Mr. Chair, can I have a clarification?
Go ahead. Attorney Oral.
Yes po. Is the House Bill 1400 is on this is already?
No. We're tackling 291 and 4596.
Yes. These are all about the creation of the ports.
Yes, the creation of the port, of the Bacolod City Port and Zamboanga City Port.
Yes po, Mr. Chair. We adopt also the position of the PPA po.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Okay, so after hearing all source person invited for this measure, any comment, manifestation, observation from our colleague on the committees?
Mr. Chairman.
I would like to recognize Congressman Rufus.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to support the position of General Manager J. Santiago. We cannot parcelize our ports into different authorities, except that I would just like to go into the point of my good friend Congressman Greg Gasataya, and I'd like to get the answer of him, Santiago. He's referring to two ports in Bacolod City. One is PPA, the other one is
LGU.
The LGU. So what about that? Because what I'm saying is that in our country, we already have a very good functioning PPA. Philippine Ports Authority for all the ports in the Philippines, and that is under J. Santiago. That is why I am proposing for railways a Philippine National Railways Authority. And then we are trying to come out with the Philippine Airports Authority, no? Not corporations. These are authority regulatory. Now, I would like to ask GMJJ his response to the predicament of Congressman Gasataya of there being two ports there. And so may we know how this will be approached, Mr. Chairman.
Please respond from our GM from PPA, Mr. Santiago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the permission of our secretary, there is, insofar as Bacolod City is concerned, Your Honor, there is one port there that is operated by PPA, which is in Banago, and there is another private port there, which is where there is more traffic actually, and it is operated by Bredco. PPA operates another port in Bacolod, which is in Pulupandan. And Pulupandan is actually a much better port. It is in a much better location. And is actually more advanced insofar as facilities are concerned. So we have, in the past, Your Honors, the problem in Bacolod City, particularly in Banago, is really the siltation. It will require heavy dredging. All year round, we will need to maintain dredging activities in that area. And in fact, in order to improve that, we have requested the local government unit previously to undertake reclamation works in order to improve it. Unfortunately, Your Honor, in the past, our request for reclamation projects was denied by the local government unit. So we could not further expand Banago anymore. And that is why we were opting to, and we have actually started moving operations to Pulupandan, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Congressman Gasataya, you're recognized. Olaso, Congressman Olaso, I mean.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Congressman Olaso from the First District of Zamboanga City. Pertaining to my bill, Mr. Chair, I'd like really to propose another port in Zamboanga City which will be run by the LGU, Mr. Chair. As per Philippine Port Authority, okay lang sana, Mr. Chair, kung nagpapatakbo yung mismong PPA, Mr. Chair, sa port. But the problem, Mr. Chair, with the present situation in Zamboanga City, everything tumaas yung presyo, Mr. Chair, because it was run by a private firm. No, Mr. Chair, taking the consideration, marami po tayong mga kapatid, galing po sa kanya-kanyang island, Polo, Kawita, Wisuyu. No, they're still using this local boat, this wooden hull boat to supply copras to Zamboanga City. Galing sa area nila, Mr. Chair, they could not dock at our local wharf, Mr. Chair. Kaya nga, instead, they're using mga finger words dito. Kaya nga, since I was a city councilor here, Mr. Chair, I propose a resolution asking the former congressman to study of creating new port in Zamboanga City, tulad yung sa Cebu Port Authority. I think, Mr. Chair, wala namang masama kung gagawa po tayo ng panibagong pantalan si Zamboanga City is the gateway to Sabah, Malaysia. That will bring further development to Zamboanga City. I'm not going against sinasabi ni PPA manager, but then, Mr. Chair, for the development of Zamboanga City, we need to create another port. Eka nga, nandiyan na yung PPA. Nandiyan na yung mga bagong firm na cooperate sa port, but still kulang sa machineries, kulang. Can you imagine the former President Duterte came to Zamboanga City for the gumawa sila ng groundbreaking hanggang ngayon, hindi pa nga natapos-tapos yung mga trabaho dito. Ang point ko is that the LGU run its own port para magkaroon din port ng puder yung Zamboanga City, Mr. Chair. Just imagine our Muslim brothers from the south utilizing this port every day. Nagre-reklamo sa kataas-taasan ng mga presyo. Formerly, nagbabayad one sack of price for the Arastes just 15 pesos. Ngayon, it's about 70 pesos to 75 pesos per sack of price. Tignan nyo ang mga escalation ng mga prices, tumaas masyado. Yung point of view ko, kaya ko itong pinapost, Mr. Chair, kasi ayaw ko yung mga kapatid natin na Muslim, bumalik na naman sa bundok at makahawak na naman to ng baril. I hope you understand our situation in Mindanao, Mr. Chair. Most especially in southern Mindanao, Zamboanga City, Mr. Chair, and the Basultas area, Mr. Chair. We want to have peace. Let our brothers, let our brother, live peacefully. Mabuhay sila ng marangya by doing a business. Pero kung kung pipigain natin yung mga kapatid natin na Muslim dito na namumuhay, from 15 pesos to 70 pesos yung mga arastre natin ngayon, eh siyempre Mr. Chair, kahit sino ba naman Mr. Chair, hindi masaya Mr. Chair. Kaya nga, very rampant yung mga smuggling dito. Sa aking point, to cut this off para magkaroon tayo ng peace and order dito, maganda yung situation natin, I think it's about time to have a local port that could be run by the LGU, Mr. Chair. Wala namang masama kung gagawa tayo ng panibagong puerto since LGU will also help fund for this port, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Olaso, the committee is well taken, the concern of Zamboanga City. Okay, any comment on the manifestation? Congressman Lasso.
Yeah.
Congressman Lasso, you recognize.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Last, pwede lang nila ibaba yung presyo yung tulad sa dati, Mr. Chair, yung tulad na 15 peso per bag. Wala namang problema sa amin, Mr. Chair, that people would get it. They would be happy to use this local port of pass. Kaso, Mr. Chair, lahat tumaas yung presyo. Masyadong mataas yung presyo. Pinapatay natin yung mga kapatid natin na Muslim from the island. Hindi natin tinutulungan. But if PTA can assure me na ibababa nila dito, I will remove my money, my sponsorship bill. Walang problema yan. But if they cannot assure na hindi nila pwede ibaba yung presyo na, Mr. Chair, tawa yung mga tao namin dito. Yan ang hinahabol ko. That's my main concern. Let us help the people of Basulta and Mindanao, Mr. Chair. We are not like Manila. Ang presyo dito ng sahod namin, we are not like Manila. We're not standard. Mababa pa yung mga sahod dito. How do these people live and survive? I hope you will understand the sentiment of some Zamboangueños and the sentiment of Basulta people, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much for recognizing me back.
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Well taken. Congressman Olaso. Chairman Akop, you're recognized virtually, please.
Yes, we would like to recognize the presence of the chairman of the Committee on Franchises, the Honorable Gus Tambunting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. Any response from the PPA regarding the concern of our proponent of House Bill 4596 from the PPA? PPA General Manager, Mr. Santiago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, with the permission of our Secretary. Sir, the issue raised by Honorable Congressman Olaso falls squarely also, I think, on the issues being raised on the subsequent House Bill, which is 1400, which is separating the operating powers and the regulatory powers of PPA. The Zamboanga City Port, owned by PPA, has been concessioned out, or pursuant to public bidding, it has been concessioned out to a private operator in compliance, of course, with the calls of segregating the regulatory and operating functions of PPA. If I may point out to the Honorable Committee, Your Honor, as far as the total logistics cost is concerned, admittedly, yes, the cargo handling charges in Zamboanga City has increased from the previous amount to a new tariff, which forms part of the new concession agreement of the private operator. But, Your Honors, that particular increase in tariff, insofar as the total logistics cost is concerned, only accounts for less than 5% of the total logistics cost. It cannot be attributed solely, if there's any increase in logistics costs or commodities costs in that particular area, we believe it cannot be attributed solely to the increase in tariff for the cargo handling charges. Other factors, based on our study, other factors have contributed to the increase in prices in that area. So, and the reason also why we bidded it out is so that, number one, that the government will be able to generate more revenue, because the revenue which will be remitted by the private operator or the concessionaire will be more than what the previous operators were paying the government. And in order to address the allegations about PPA taking advantage of increase in tariff prices or tariff increases, as far as the regulatory structure, the regulatory framework which PPA adopts now, Your Honors, is that PPA only gets a flat fee. It does not partake of any percentage in any revenue anymore. So whether or not the concessionaire makes money, the government will receive a flat fee, which is more than historically what the PPA was getting in previous years as part of percentage, Your Honor. So we commiserate and we understand where the concerns raised by Honorable Congressman Olaso is concerned. What we promise to do insofar as PPA is concerned, we will try to study to rationalize the tariff system in that particular area. And we promise that, you know, with whatever amounts or with whatever tariff prices our brothers Zamboangueños are facing or have to go through, it will be compensated by more efficient service and more modern service in that particular area. In fact, Your Honor, from the time that there was a new concessionaire there, new equipment have been put in place, cargo handling has been digitized, and there is an ongoing construction of a new passenger terminal building there in Zamboanga, Your Honors, which will be the biggest passenger terminal building in the Philippines when finished, Your Honors. Thank you, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair, may I come back?
Yes, Congressman Olaso.
The statement of General Manager. Thank sinabi ni deconstitutionalize the privatization. Okay naman yun. Magandang sabi ko dito na Zamboanga. We've been in Zamboanga for so long. Since my childhood is dito ako pinanganak talaga. Hindi nila nakikita kung ano yung problema sa Mindanao. Everything was given in the north ever since talaga. Mr. Chair, my sentiment here, tulungan natin ang mga kapatid natin dito with a tariff rate na ganun kataas. Hindi po kaya, nagre-reklamo po talaga yung mga kapatid natin na Muslim. Just imagine, all those rices are coming from Zamboanga City, sending to Basulta, Holo. Alam niyo po, kikita sana ng gobyerno ng mas malaki pa if all those things are legalized, maayos yung Ang problema, tinatakas ng ibang tao dito, want to pass via Philippine Port Authority, dahil mahal ang singil sa kanila ngayon. Paano nangyayari? Everything is passing by our finger works. Which agree, most of our finger works here, they are not legal. They're illegal structures here. Ang tanong ko dito, kung gusto nating illegalize to, dapat noon pa, naglagay tayo ng privatization. Yung privatization, sobra naman din taas yung singil sa tao natin, that they can reduce this amount, yun fairly lang na mababuhay rin ang mga tao natin. One, there's another concern pertaining the equipment. Wala nga tayo dito mga gantry crane. Ang usapan dito, ilalagay mo yung this will be privatized, this will be held by a private company na may gantry crane. For 1 year, almost 2 years na operations, walang gantry crane dito sa Zamboanga City. Everything is using mobile crane. Yan ang dapat natin i-improve dito. I'm just bringing this concern to the very good manager of PPA para malaman nila ano yung real problem also in Zamboanga City. Ano po nangyayari dito. As much as possible, gusto lang naman namin dito is yung tariff natin ay sisingil sa mga ating mga kababayan, not only from Zamboanga City, but sir, including Basulta, medyo babaan natin because we are also having a vessel here that is running. Yung BI under BIMP-Yaga, they're also complaining yung mga yung mga doon, tawag dito, yung mga traders doon, mataas daw yung singil sa kanila sa mga nila, sa freight ng mga cargo nila, sa not the vessel but yung mga port charges sa kanila. Kaya nga, sabi ko, paano mabubuhay yung BIMP-Yaga kung ganun kataas yung mga charges nila? Kaya Mr. Chair, yun ang hiningi natin. Kung pwede nilang ibaba yung tariff rate dyan, maganda na po, masaya na po ako. No need to do no need to do with this yung port of mine, yung I'm requesting to create another local port for Zamboanga City. Pero kung ganun pa rin yung tariff rate natin, then we have to create our own kasi mahirap po. We cannot, it's not competitive po. Lugi po yung mga tao. Hindi po talaga kaya. Yun ang concerns na dinala sa akin when I was still a councilor way back 2020 to 2021, this problem arises in Zamboanga City. Kaya dapat ipupush po talaga natin to, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Well taken, Congressman Olaso. We would like to recognize our chairman, co-chairman, Congressman Acop. Congressman Acop, please unmute. Please unmute. Congressman Acop, please unmute.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Can I propound some questions to the Honorable Olaso?
Go ahead, the chairman, Acop.
May I ask Congressman Olaso, kasi ang pagkaalam ko, tatlo yung fees dyan sa basically, shipping, arrastre, stevedoring, at saka yung tracking. Ang pang-apat siguro yung warehousing. Ano po ang tumaas dyan sa Zamboanga City Port?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, yung tumaas po yung stevedoring, yung fee sa arrastre po, tumaas din po sa Zamboanga Port. Dati tulad ng one sack of rice o one bag of rice is only 15 peso yung charges, kayo naging 75 pesos na. Yung one bag of rice, 18 peso, naging 75 na. Medyo tumaas talaga yung presyo. More than triple yung price niya. Kaya po yun ang cry ng mga tao dito. Kung pwede, babaan nila, wag naman 75. Okay na nga sila sa 20 pesos, 25, pero wag naman ganun bigla kataas. Yun ang hinihingi pa ng mga kababayan natin dito. And aside from that, yung tariff fee ng container, that is from 1,000 pesos ngayon para nasa 3,000 pesos na po. So yun ang hinihingi po kasi lahat talagang tumataas eh. I mean, may tataas talaga na presyo pero not to that much din kasi alam nyo naman po yung situation sa Zamboanga City. We survive by barter trades and of course by cooperas. Yan ang negosyo na nanggagaling dito sa amin, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Your Honor. Yan ba yung pagtaas na yan dahil na-award yung stevedoring or arrastre services to a private person recently?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I may answer. Yes, Mr. Chair. Dahil na-award po sa private trade po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. May I ask some questions to the General Manager of PPA? Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Chairman Acop, please.
GM, kayo po ang na-award ng arrastre at saka stevedoring services, di po ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Yeah. When did you award the stevedoring and arrastre services of the Port of Zamboanga?
I believe,
to a
Your
private entity.
I believe, Your Honor, the bidding and the award happened sometime in 2020.
2020?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Pagkatapos po niyong i-develop yung port, di po ba?
Yes,
Kasi
Your
if we look at 3 to 4 years ago, na-develop yung mga certain ports in the country. Di po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And therefore, if I asked you, kanino po nyo in-award yung arrastre and stevedoring services ng Port of Zamboanga?
If I'm not mistaken, Your Honor, the operator there is Global Port Terminals.
I see. That tells me a lot, General Manager. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your
Honor. Mr. Santiago, sa concern ni Congressman Alaso, do you have the authority to regulate yung kanilang tariff na tumaas from 15 to 75 pesos?
Your Honor, if I may explain,
yes.
Under what PPA has is called the Port Terminal Management Regulatory Framework. Basically, we have 3 tiers of ports, 3 kinds of ports. You have Tier 1, which is which covers, if you're familiar po, dito sa South Harbor sa Manila, ito pong Manila International Container Terminal, North Harbor. We have Tier 2 po, which is Davao, Sasa, and then all others po are considered as Tier 3. In fact, where Congressman Rodriguez hails from in Cagayan de Oro po is a Tier 3 port. For Tier 3 ports po that we bid out, the tariff po there is uniform. So whatever port users pay in Zamboanga, it is the same amount which they pay in Tagbilaran, it is the same amount they pay in Cagayan de Oro, it is the same amount they pay in Osamis, Iligan, etc. for all the Tier 3 ports. And why is this? Because as I said earlier, Your Honors, what we need to do is to establish a cohesive port system where all the standards, where all the facilities, ultimately, and even the rates will be uniform. Otherwise, there will be certain ports which will be left behind, and we will not be able to operate efficiently because if you can imagine, Your Honor, there will be ports like Cagayan de Oro, which is advanced, which will have the capability of handling containers because they have cranes. If Cagayan de Oro wants to send, say for example, a container in Zamboanga at this point, it cannot do that. So Cagayan de Oro will have to look somewhere else. It will have to do transshipment somewhere else. And what we want to do is that all ports will be able to handle all types of cargoes at a future time, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, Member Olaso.
Okay, Congressman Olaso, you're again recognized.
Thank you. I agree with what the good manager is talking about Cagayan de Oro. Yes. Kasi ang Cagayan de Oro, may mga gantry cranes na sila doon. But Zamboanga, we don't have gantry trains here. Everything is operational by portable crane here, which is owned by the shipping line. Eh kung mayroon na silang gantry train, walang problema. If we will talk about cargos pertaining containerized. But here in Zamboanga, I'm talking about the local vessel running from Basulta, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi. Hindi pa naman containerized yung mga cargo. Diyan lahat yan, nasasapo lang po. And you know, it's really difficult na gaganunin natin yung mga kababayan natin. Kasi minsan, alam niyo po, may mga kababayan natin from Basilan, pupunta ng Zamboanga City, bibili lang ng 5 sako. Why? Nagtitipid po sa 100 pesos na yung parang yung markup sa Basilan, halimbawa, ganun. Bibili sa Zamboanga dahil mas mura yung bigas dito. Dadalhin sa Basilan or dadalhin ba sa Hulo, nagtitipid sila. So pagdating ng puerto, sisingil sa kanila ng mahal, yun ang concern ko. Forget about the country cranes, forget about the containerized my point of view, yung mga sako lang, ibaba natin yung rate. Especially for pwedeng i-regulate ng PPN, masaya na po people of, I hope you understand, kasi nandito po kami sa Zamboanga City, yung problem sa amin po pumupunta hindi pumupunta sa PPA directly, that is directly to us as a legislator, as a representative of Zamboanga. Kaya dinadala ko po itong problema ngayon dito sa Congress to address this problem. Sabi ko, ang pinaka-the best way, we have to create another port like Cebu. Look at Cebu. What happened to Cebu? The economical development of Cebu, they were really progress because meron silang sariling ports nila. Zamboanga, we could develop if we will have our own ports. Aside from that, sir, I'm creating a bill putting traffic separation scheme in Zamboanga City. That is for the purpose of that port also. Para umangat din yung lugar natin. I'm so tired and I'm so sick seeing Zamboanga City just like this ever since. Being a first-termer congressman, alam niyo po, representative, this is my wish for my city. Being a former OFW, being a ship captain, I've been to a lot of ports in the world, Mr. Chair. Alam ko kung paano na-develop yung Zamboanga because of the ports. If we will do that, we will have another ports run by our local government and other parties, and that would be very great. That would bring good impact not only to Zamboanga City, but to the entire Philippines, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chairman Akop, you recognize Chairman Akop. Please unmute, Chairman Akop. Please unmute.
Sorry. The two chairs would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Joel Archua in the conference, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. They're acknowledged. Okay. GM Santiago, per your statement a while ago, titignan mo kung ano magagawa dyan sa concern dyan sa Zamboanga. Please elaborate para malaman ng committee ito.
Thank you po, Your Honor. Yung pong sinasabi ni Honorable Congressman Olaso, totoo po na mayroon pong schedule of rates. Uniform po yan. In all Tier 3 ports, there is a uniform schedule of rates. But if there are services po na hindi available, the operator po cannot and will not charge the fees for those rates. For example po, katulad po ng nasabi niya, sa Cagayan de Oro nga po, meron po tayong crane. May singil po doon na tinatawag na craneage, yung sa paggamit po ng crane. Hindi po, although nasa schedule po, hindi po maaaring singilin ng operator sa Zamboanga yun dahil wala naman po siyang crane. Sa study po namin, Your Honors, kung containerized po, which is virtually nil or non-existent sa Zamboanga, ang difference lang po noon insofar as total logistics cost is concerned is less than 5%. Kapag yung pong chassis on roll-on, roll-off na wala pong tractor head, nasa less than 2%. At kung roro po, meaning yung truck po na magro-roll-on, roll-off, that is less than 1% po ang impact sa logistics cost. So what are we saying here, Your Honor? We are trying to make a more efficient use po ng ating roro terminals because mas magiging mura po sa mga kababayan natin kung sila po ay mag-transition into roro cargo rather than po yung conventional na binubuhat po ng mga istiba o yung pong ginagamitan po ng forklift. We are trying to dictate transition into a more efficient use of our port facilities po. May option po ang mga user natin, Your Honor. Meron po talaga, admittedly, merong mas mataas ang presyo ng option, pero dihamak naman po merong mas mura na option po kung gagamitin lamang po nila yung yung options po na available. And what we are suggesting po at this point is to make the most out of our RORO facilities po dahil mas mura pong dihamak yung kargamento.
Okay, thank you, GM Santiago. Before we continue again, we would like to recognize Congressman Gasataya virtually.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Chair. Very briefly, Honorable Chair, just like to point out that again, the LGU of Bacolod owns the port in the city. Number two, on the point raised by the good PPA manager that in the previous years, the LGU was not able to support the request that they were getting for the expansion of the Banago port. May I respectfully request the good manager, Honorable Chair, if this time you will be able to make the necessary proposal to the new mayor of Bacolod, Mayor Albi Benitez, with regards to that plan, Honorable Chair. Then number three, may we also request the PPA to look into this concern of those using the Bredco port in Bacolod City, because since time immemorial, I think we are the only port that pag pumasok ka, babayad ka. Pag bababo, babayad ka ulit. Meaning if you're from Iloilo, then papasok ka port to Bacolod, magbabayad ka sa Iloilo o magbabayad ka sa Dubangas. Pagdating mo ng Bacolod, same thing, magbabayad ka ulit. So we just brought this concerns of the people of Bacolod, Negros Occidental, to the office of the Philippine Ports Authority, Honorable Chair. And this is the reason why I personally filed this bill way back in the 18th Congress, and I also refiled this in the 19th Congress. Thank you very much.
Okay, well taken, Congressman Gasataya. So we heard all the position of the different national government agencies, and we will consolidate it for the proper disposition of this two bill. So we would like to recognize Congressman Busita.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to defer the deliberation of these two bills for further discussion and refinement.
Okay, there's a motion. Any seconded?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, this was seconded and there's no objection from this body. The said motion is carried. So we will tackle now the last agenda for today is the House Bill number 1400. And this is authored by Representative Herrera. So we would like to recognize her virtually.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Pasensya na po, I'm turning off my video because I'm mobile. So, pangit po yung signal ko. But I move that we include the explanatory note as the sponsorship speech of this House bill. It's really mainly to separate regulation and the development functions of the Philippine Ports Authority and create a Philippine Ports Corporation.
Sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Congressman Herrera. So we would like to ask the comment or the position of the DOTR regarding this bill number 1400. You are recognized virtually, representative from DOTR.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For DOTR, we submit that the proposed separation of PPA's regulatory functions from its power to operate public facilities is in line with the global policy and trend of delineating the same. This will minimize the chance of any potential conflict of interest, and so DOTR expresses its full support to the objective of House Bill number 1400. However, with due deference to PPA's expertise on the subject, we will respectfully defer to their comments also in HB number 1400 for the committee's consideration, Mr. Chair. And with this, we respectfully request the position of GM Santiago, Mr. Chair. Salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the DOTR representative. So we would like to ask the position of the PPA, GM Santiago. You are recognized virtually.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the permission of the joint chairs and our secretary, if I may reiterate, Your Honor, what Yusek Riebra stated, that true, we support the intention and the observation that there has to be a separation between the regulatory function and the operations function of any particular government agency. However, as I stated earlier, Your Honors, the situation or the position of PPA is unique, if not peculiar, in the sense that PPA generates its own revenue. It does not derive any revenue from any national budget or from the GIAA, which it uses to for the development of the much-needed ports all over the country, considering that we are an archipelago. Recognizing the rationale behind the proposed bills, Your Honors, PPA has already embarked on a process by which we are already segregating the operations and the regulatory function of the agency through the Port Terminal Management Regulatory Framework, wherein PPA has been bidding out private concessions to these terminals so that they may now be operated by private individuals. So PPA will no longer be the ones operating the terminals. PPA will merely be owning the land, owning the facilities on which these concessions will be undertaken, and will regulate the operations of these private operators in these PPA-owned facilities. Contrary to the previous regime or relationship between PPA and its private operators, wherein PPA used to derive a percentage of the revenue of the private operators, which solicited criticism in the sense that whenever PPA increased the tariff, PPA actually took advantage of the increase in tariff insofar as its own revenue is concerned. With this new framework, Your Honor, which we have implemented, PPA no longer participates in any tariff increase. PPA merely gets a flat fee on an annual basis for the duration of the concession term, Your Honor. In fact, so far, Your Honors, we've already privatized 19 ports, and these are the major and gateway ports which PPA used to operate. And we are in the process of privatizing additional ports in order to further migrate from its regulatory operator function into a purely regulatory regime, Your Honors. So with that being said, we suggest that although we defer to the wisdom of Congress as to the to the wisdom of this particular measure, we recommend that maybe it might be better to further study the situation or the position where PPA is in or where our port industry is in right now, so that Congress can better appreciate the nuances which prevails insofar as the port administration in the Philippines is concerned, so that we do not get into a situation, Your Honor, wherein there will be requirements for funding future developments, and the operating company or the operating entity will not be able to fund that, considering that it will not have any resources to undertake those developments. Thank you, Your Honors.
Okay, we would like to recognize our co-chairman, Chairman
Mr.
Ako.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask the OTR? PPA, I think, is in the same situation like CAAP. Totoo po ba?
Yes. Please respond
yes,
from the OTR.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we confirm that.
Yes. Dito, ang solution nyo, pabor kayo na alisin yung isang function ng PPA. How about doon sa CAAP? Ano po ang kwan ninyo, solution nyo?
Mr. Chairman, this is Yusek Babilim. Likewise, we believe that the regulatory function and operating function of CAAP should be divorced. Meaning to say that the operating of airports, the development and operation of airports, responsibility of CAAP should be taken out and placed in a separate entity, such as the Philippine Airports Authority or the Philippine Airports Corporation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In other words, there will be a different entity to perform the other function, like, for example, the bills creating the Philippine Airport Authority. Yun po bang ibig nyo sabihin?
Yes, Your Honor. We will divorce the function of regulation and operation.
Where would you place the other function?
The regulatory function will remain with CAAP.
How about the operation? How about the
operation will
function?
be transferred to a Philippine Airport Corporation, just like the bill of Congressman Kokoyap, which was the.
I agree. Tinatanong ko rin ito dahil PPA is similarly situated. Ang problema lang, nililipat natin yung problema from PPA to Marina, which is also encountering some issues and concerns insofar as their jurisdiction is concerned. Di po ba? So, itong bill ni Honorable Herrera would transfer the other function of PPA to Marina.
Okay. Mr. Chair, if we may be allowed to respond.
Yeah, please go ahead, please.
Mr. Chair, our position is that Marina should not be the regulator. The regulator should remain to be PPA, Mr. Chair.
How about the operational functions?
The operational. Yes.
The operational function, Mr. Chair, can be delegated to the Philippine Ports Corporation that's being proposed to be created, Mr. Chair.
So it's clear, Mr. Chair, na in the case of CAAP, the proposal of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez for the creation of a Philippine Airports Authority, the other function of CAAP will be transferred here. And insofar as PPA is concerned, we would create another entity to perform the other function that will be taken from PPA. Very clear po ba ito, the OTR?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we understand that po.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rest my case.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr.
Chairman Rufus, Congressman Rufus, you're recognized.
Yeah, my bill really is on the railways, no? Not on the Philippine airports, Chairman Romy. But having said that, there is another way that DOTR can go, and they are doing this. They are now privatizing the operations of airports. That is why they cannot develop Cagayan de Oro Airport, which is already full packed passengers sitting on the floor, because there is already some sort of a mutual agreement that the Cagayan de Oro Laguindingan International Airport will now be transferred to Aboitiz. In fact, Aboitiz Group had already come and always has already inspected that. So, Mr. Lim, probably you are not quite, quite precise in saying that you're in favor of a Philippine Airport Corporation, because the CAAP is already privatizing. Is that correct? I'll ask now Secretary Bautista, because I have talked with the Secretary, and during the budget hearing, precisely, Secretary Bautista stated that they cannot approve my 530 million request for additional building, passenger building for Cagayan de Oro, because there is now a possible entry of private entities to operate the airport. The CAAP continues to own the facilities, the present one, and they have to pay royalty of or any payment to the CAAP. Maybe know from Secretary Bautista. Yeah. How about that? Are you really like Bobby Lim? Bobby is in favor of Philippine Airport Corporation, another entity where the government will have to put money when there has already been a privatization of many airports. Maybe know from the good secretary, what is now the present, tack of our DTOTR in relation to airports in our country?
Secretary Bautista?
Thank you, Congressman Rodriguez. The plan po for the privatization of Laguindingan Airport is for the private sector to operate it, no? Modernize and operate the airport, no? This is po under the BOT law, no? The Build, Operate and Transfer law, no? Of which the private sector will be invited to enter into a concession agreement, no? And with the signing of the concession agreement, the private sector will construct or modernize the existing facilities, no? And yun po ang kanilang magiging responsibility for them to be able to extend better service to the riding public, no? So hindi po siya inconsistent, no?
No, Mr. Secretary, it will be consistent because you are saying, Bobby Lim is saying that there will be he is in favor of a Philippine Airport Corporation where the government will open up a government corporation, put billions there to operate airports. But since you are already into privatization, like the PPA, there may be no need to really separate functions because the PPA has already now privatized the operation of many ports, including Cagayan de Oro City. And so, in other words, the PPA is now separating really the operations from the authority from governance. So now, which is which now? Are you in favor of a Philippine Airport Corporation to run the airports, or are you in favor, Secretary, to be able to just really privatize them because you have started it? In fact, the previous administration of President Digong was also Pinoy, pre-Pinoy pa. They clustered airports, Cagayan, Davao, and so forth, clustered it, and they were supposed to give to Aboitiz. Then President Digong comes in, and President Digong disaggregated these airports. So now there is a conflict between supporting what Secretary Bobby said about an airport when there is now a trust to really just, under BOT, privatize it, and the CAAP just really continues to regulate.
Congressman Rupos?
Yes.
Yun pong Philippine Airport Corporation will be the ones who will operate those airports which are presently operated by CAAP, no? And CAAP will be the regulatory agency, no? So these are the airports that are not privatized, no? So for example po, we're not privatizing airport like Tandag, no? Or Masbate, no? Or the other airports which are not subject to privatization. This will be operated by the Philippine Airports Corporation, no? Yun po ang difference. So,
yeah. So now it's clear that there will be airports that will be privatized, and for those not privatized, you are in favor of having a Philippine Airport Corporation. Is that correct, Secretary?
yes, Your Honor.
Because this will not be, these are airports which are not really earning.
Yes, opo.
Airports. Well, now it's clear, because now clearly there is now a trust. Now, how many airports, Mr. Secretary, are due for
right now we have around 670 airports po, no? For privatization, it will be around 10 regional airports, no? So the rest will be under the Philippine Airports Corporation.
Now, since the main 10 airports will now be privatized, why don't just the CAAP continue operating the those who have not been able to operate? Because if you're saying that the Philippine Airport Corporation will be established to operate that, that will be bankrupt also, the Philippine Corporation. You see, when you put up something that may not earn, like the Philippine Airport Corporation will be operating Tandag, the small airports. Now, how do you expect that corporation to be not a white elephant? So we will be subsidizing it like the National Food Authority. So is that the concept of the Philippine, the DOTR, Secretary?
Your Honor, ang CAAP po kasi, one of the revenues of CAAP is the overflight charges, no? Which is like 50% of the total revenue of CAAP, no? So we can use this to subsidize the operations of those airports which are not making money, no? So, or possible po, it can get subsidy from the national government, since CAAP naman is contributing portion of its revenue to the national government, no?
So, Secretary, you are going to transfer the subsidy from the CAAP to the Philippine Airport Corporation. So, in other words, it is even more questionable, because we want to do away with white elephants. We want to do away with corporations where we are just putting money, and then certainly it will not help in any way. So I think, Mr. Chairman, that is why we have to study the Philippine Airport Corporation, because if they will take over non-earning airports, how can they be able to manage to earn? You see? So they are just putting up a white elephant. Now, going now to the situation of the PPA, I just hope that General Manager Santiago, these are bills filed by my good friend, Congressman Kemer Olaso, and my good friend, Greg Gasataya, because of the problems, the peculiar problems in the areas. In the case of Zamboanga, very high tariff. Why don't we have a tier 4? Kasi kung ipareho mo ang tier 3, Cagayan de Oro, with Zamboanga na wala kayong fixed cranes there, and it are the cranes of the operators, now why will you have the same tariff of 75 pesos in Cagayan and 75 pesos in Osamis? That's the point. That is why there are bills filed, because our congressmen are the ones who receive all the complaints from our constituents. Now, good for Cagayan de Oro, because we always have high praises to our manager, Bung Butaslak, and of course, General Manager J. Santiago. But in this particular case, kay kay Congressman Greg Gasataya. There's a problem kasi yung PPA natin doon, it's the city government is the one having that, and they want to have a better deal. So that is why these bills were filed. Now, going to this bill of separating the functions of the PPA, I would agree that we are now already privatizing the operations. That is the present situation. So then therefore no need to transfer the regulatory function to the Marina because the PPA is now already privatizing the operation functions of the ports. So those are my position, Mr. Chairman. So I just hope for the two bills, General Manager Santiago will be able to respond to our Congressman Kemer Olaso and to Congressman Greg Casataya to improve the situation in Bacolod City and Zamboanga. And then for this bill of our good friend, Deputy Speaker Bernadette Herrera, then I think it's been done already. Rather than putting to another marina, another function, they have already a big problems already on their own, and putting it there, it is being done now what the PPA is doing under GM Santiago. Those are my inputs, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rufus, for the input and manifestation. It is well taken by this committee. So, any more members from our colleague to the committees? Any manifestation? Any comment regarding this bill number 1400?
Mr. Chairman, I move to defer the three bills. Let us give a chance to GM Santiago to be able to address the problems of Bacolod.
Okay.
Congressman Sataya, who is just bringing out the problems of his constituents, and also kay Congressman Kemer Olaso. So that after things are done, I hope GM Santiago, he's always proactive, will talk to Congressman Kemer and also to Congressman Zataya. After all, when I had problems with my with the port in Cagayan de Oro, we had a talk always with the GMJ, and problems were solved. You see, they were all solved because of the proactive stance of our GM. Now, as to having the corporation for the airports, let us study that, because they are now in the process of giving already, so that to the privatization. I hope the Secretary Bautista will fast track the privatization of these 10 earning airports like Cagayan de Oro City, 2 billion passengers or more a year. And then for my bill, we continue with the Mindanao Railways, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
and
we'll
then,
do that.
of course, for the railways, that is where we need a national railway.
We'll do that.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay, Congresswoman Herrera, please, are you recognized?
Mr. Chair, may I request that we have another hearing with regards to this, and we invite other stakeholders so we could explore this further.
All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, so that we can invite the stakeholders, especially those who approached me and filed and lobbied for this bill, because this has been pending since before, and I think it's worth na mapakinggan po natin sila. And there are other options that we can look into, like for example, PPA can also be the regulatory. What's important is that the separation should be present, and that is something na hindi natin pwedeng baliwalain at this point. So I agree naman with Jay that we have to really study this very carefully. That's why I want to ask for another hearing so that we can invite the stakeholders so that we can hear their inputs as well, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well taken, Congresswoman Herrera. And
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There was a motion a while ago with Congressman Rufus to defer this House Bill number 1400, and this was seconded, and we'll be inviting additional resource person from the different NGA for additional input regarding this House Bill number 1400. If there's no objection, the motion is carried.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will submit to the committee the list of guests that we need to invite so that we can discuss this further.
Okay, noted by the COMSEC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll go now on other matters. Any other matters? our Chairman of Transportation, Chairman Acop. Please unmute, Chairman. Please unmute.
I have no more issue or concern, Mr. Chair. I think we have discussed lengthily all the issues presented to the two committees.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, in behalf of the Committee on the Government Enterprises and Privatization, we would like to thank Secretary Bautista attending this committee hearing. And thank you for all the members and the colleagues for their input and manifestation on all the bills being discussed today. So, on the part of the Chairman of the Transportation, Chairman Acop.
On the part of the Chairman of the Committee on Transportation, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the members of the Committee on Transportation who attended this hearing and the resource persons invited to provide the insights that the two committees need insofar as the issues we have undertaken are concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On the part of the Committee on the Government Enterprises, we adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Chairman Edwin. Thank you, Chairman Romy. Very well done. Our meeting has really been able to clarify many issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat din po sa inyo.
Salamat po. Thank you very much. Thank you.
On the part of the Committee on Transportation, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay
Bye-bye.
safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.